This time, travel story is from a Reddit user. I'm an electrical engineer who built a time machine. At first, it only allowed me to travel 20 minutes into the future, but then I upgraded it so that I could go 20 hours into the future. It worked well until one day my wife turned the machine on and went for a walk. She came back 20 hours later and was very upset because she had just missed our son's heart surgery. She thought the machine would send her to the moment 20 hours in the future when her internal clock said it was time, but it actually sent her to the actual moment 20 hours in the future. My fault. I didn't set the destination properly. But how could I have known? Until that point, the machine had always worked perfectly. I tried to explain this to my wife, but she wouldn't listen. She left me and took our son with her. She said I wasn't fit to be a father, and that I would never see our son again unless I fixed the machine. That was 8 months ago. Now I'm alone in this big house and I hate the machine. But at least it works. This morning, I traveled 20 hours into the future. And guess what? The power grid was down and I couldn't charge my phone. So I'm stuck here. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack in this story. First of all, how did he build a time machine? Well, OP, or the original poster, doesn't say exactly how he made this device, but it seems to be some sort of a bed that sends him to the future. You lay down on it, maybe fall asleep, and then you get sent to a time 20 minutes or 20 hours ahead. He also says that he upgraded the machine. So it wasn't doing the 20-hour jumps at first. He had to upgrade it. This guy clearly knows what he's doing. He's an electrical engineer. But even so, how do you make a machine that can time travel? Well, it's hard to say because we don't know how time travel works. Does it work? Well, according to Stephen Hawking, it shouldn't. In his book, A Brief History of Time, he says, time travel to the past is theoretically possible, but practically impossible. But theoretical physicist Richard Mansell says that time travel to the future is real. It's possible for someone to travel into their own future by moving really fast. As Albert Einstein proved, space and time intertwined in a four-dimensional continuum are relative. They depend on your frame of reference. To put it simply, if you move fast, time slows down. So traveling at the speed of light would mean time stops. So if you could move faster than the speed of light, then time would actually move backwards. We haven't figured out how to get anywhere near the speed of light yet, let alone faster than it. But we have sent spacecraft into space that have moved fast enough to prove that time does in fact slow down. In 2017, researchers found that the twin aboard the International Space Station had aged slower than his twin on Earth. It wasn't much, just 7 minutes, but it proves the theory. If you want to time travel to the future, become an astronaut and sign up for a long mission. But there's no way to travel to the past. But let's assume for a second that OP's machine does actually work. How is he sending his wife to different times? We often think of time travel as being like a TARDIS where you enter it and then use levers and buttons to navigate through time. But in reality, that's not how it would work. The best way to time travel would probably be using wormholes. Wormholes are theoretically possible, but we've never discovered one. If you wanted to use a wormhole to time travel, you'd enter it and come out somewhere else and hopefully somewhere else in time as well. But the problem with wormholes is that they're not like Starbucks where every cup of coffee tastes the same. They can take you to different places and different times, but it's not guaranteed to be where you want to go. You could wind up thousands of years in the past or maybe into the far future. Or you could end up in an entirely different dimension. There's also the issue of whether or not you could even survive the journey. Wormholes are probably dangerous. Even if you did come out the other side alive, you'd have to hope that the place you ended up in is actually hospitable to humans and maybe even human life in general. All of that being said, that's probably the most likely way humanity will ever time travel. But there are other options. Some scientists believe that manipulating black holes could allow us to time travel. Black holes warp time around them, but we don't know exactly how. What if we could somehow make a black hole and then control it? Maybe we could use it to travel through time. Finally, there's the possibility that time travel might not even be possible. We may never be able to travel to the past or the future. It may seem crazy, but there are good reasons to think that it might not be possible. Scientists are constantly discovering new things about the universe, and our understanding of it is always changing. Just because something seems impossible today doesn't mean it always will be. Who knows? Maybe someday soon we'll find a way to travel through time. Now, about OP's machine. We know that he has his time machine at home. But how does he get to work? Does he go back in time and fix the mistake? Well, OP says that he's alone in his big house. He's been kicked out by his wife and son and has apparently not fixed the machine. So it seems that he's still living in the present, although that may change in the future. Unless he fixes the machine, his son will probably grow up hating him. Imagine going your whole life knowing that your dad abandoned you because he couldn't fix a time machine. Also, why didn't he just tell his wife that he would fix the machine? Instead of traveling 20 hours into the future to try and fix the situation, he could have just told her he would fix it tomorrow. Sure, that would have meant waiting another 20 hours, but that's better than disappearing for 20 hours every day. OP, you had one job. Also, if he had used the time machine to fix the situation, he wouldn't be alone in his big house right now. He'd be with his family. The morale of this story is to always remember to set your destinations properly. Also, it might be a good idea to not abandon your family, especially when they're mad at you. But now it's time for the Reddit story to come full circle. After spending 20 hours alone in his house, OP's phone dies and he's forced to wait another 20 hours before it charges again. This is his punishment for abandoning his family. But what will happen next? Will he be alone forever? Will he eventually fix the machine? Will he ever see his son again? Well, those questions were answered in a comment on the original post. One user asked, "What happened after 20 hours?" To which OP replied, "I called a friend. He picked me up and brought me back to the present. I got a call from my wife. She told me she wanted to give us another chance. She said she missed me and the kids missed their dad. I drove home and hugged them tightly. We had ice cream for dinner and watched a movie together. Now my wife and I work on the machine together. Our son is our little helper. I'm a better father now." So OP's happy ending is basically the equivalent of the cliché, "They all lived happily ever after." Except he didn't even need to defeat an evil queen or slay a dragon to get his happy ending. He just needed to apologize to his wife and son. Sometimes fixing a mistake is as simple as saying, "You're sorry." It's easy to get lost in the details and focus on the technical aspects of a story like this one. But sometimes it's nice to step back and remember that, at the end of the day, it's just a story about a guy who abandoned his family and then realized he should probably fix that. And thank you for watching.